Thank you. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the October 9th, 2025 budget meeting for Timberlane Regional School District. Could we call the roll?
Sabrina Auburn.
Here.
Catherine Gonzalez.
Here.
Julie Hammond. Katie Knudsen.
Here.
Elizabeth Costa.
Here.
Sheila Lowe's.
Here.
Lauren Schlurf. Sue Sherman.
Here.
Brian Smith.
Here.
Karen White.
Here. Can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have the meeting minutes for September 25th, 2025, the regular meeting. Do we have a motion?
Move to accept the minutes.
We have a motion to accept the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. Do we have any corrections, comments? Okay. All those in favor? Five. Opposed? Abstain? 2, 3.
Chair, before we go any further than minutes, did we get the other set of minutes fixed?
They have been posted and I believe that they were emailed out to us.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any correspondence? I did not receive any. Delegates and individuals. Okay, I'm waiting. Administrative report.
All right, well, here we go. Let me start with Maria. She's gonna kind of point us forward about what to expect this evening with some comparisons, and I'll have a few things to report out of note for the Budget Committee this evening.
So, good evening, everybody. Tonight we have 5 groups present, 5 directors or principals presenting to us. They are, the first one will be athletics. Athletics is presenting a budget of $475,271. That is a $29,429 increase compared to the 25 actuals, which is actually a 7% increase. The music department is presenting tonight a $118,596 budget, which is $6,075 above what they spent in fiscal year 2025, or a 5% increase. The Timberlane Regional Middle School is presenting a $336,967 budget. That is $62,271 over what they spent in fiscal year 2025. That's a 23% increase. Timberlane Regional High School is presenting a budget tonight of $956,436. That is $34,484 above what they spent in 2025, and that is a 4% increase. The CIP is presenting a $1,892,200 budget. That is $113,285 above what we spent in 2025. That is a 6% increase. Year to date, with all the departments and the schools that have presented budgets, we are at $6,387,103. That is $89,186 above what was spent in 2025, or a 1% increase.
Thank you. Anything else, sir?
Yes, we'll have a couple things. Thank you so much for those numbers, Maria. A couple things of note to point out tonight. I've presented the options about coming in for some workshops and informational sessions, Liz, for both Budget Committee members and school board members. If you haven't received a calendar invite already, those will be forthcoming for you tomorrow morning. We've targeted Wednesdays and Thursdays throughout the month of October, with some daytime and some evening times. You'll have editing privileges to that calendar that we'll send out at any date and time that works for you. If you just wanted to put your name into that slot, Maria and I would expect you here at the SAU with a small number of us. We'd like to walk you through the adequacy trend report to understand how adequacy money is received at the district. And we'd also like to present the cash flow projection for this current fiscal year we're in. We think it's really good information for folks to have, and it allows folks to assess and evaluate the health of the school district. So please look for that if you have not already seen that come through in your emails. We'll see how those meetings go and how many people we can reach. And if we need to extend those meetings into the month of November, we can certainly do that as well. Wanted to report out two things coming up at the school board meeting, October 16th, both of which are not new to the conversations here, but I will be presenting initially the impact of moving to full day kindergarten in terms of what the fiscal impact of that would be. We are continuing to work with the New Hampshire Education Department about finalizing those calculations, what adequacy money we would receive for our students, how many of our students would qualify to receive that adequacy money, what the staffing would need to be. So as we continue those conversations, we'll bring more clarity, but that first initial conversation with the board will be October 16th. And also to remind this budget committee, this October 16th is also in the subcommittee of the school board that was tasked with investigating the tax cap and the feasibility and impact of that. They're also going to present their report, and that will be led by Marianne Springer of the school board and also Sean O'Neill, resident of the town of Danville. You can expect that on the 16th as well. I'll be bringing their formal report back to the board, but if you wanted to receive it before our next meeting, you can tune into that school board meeting. As we mentioned to you last time, that the month of October was the insurance rates setting time, that we were going to be able to bring back the rates for this evening for you. So I'd like to present those to the committee. Looking forward, the AB 20 plan is going to experience a 11.1% rate increase. Our plan labeled AB SOS is going to experience a 14.1% increase. Open Access, which is a new plan, which will have an 8.5% rate increase. Our dental plan will receive a 4.4% increase. There is no increase for life insurance or LTD insurance. And vision, to remind you, is 100% paid by employees and does not have a cost impact on the school district. In relation to those rates, I also want to present to you some news that has come out of Health Trust. And again, Health Trust is our risk pool carrier here in the school district. You may have been watching some news reports about some other risk pools in New Hampshire that have experienced some concern over time. And I like to, I think, present some pretty reassuring information to this group regarding our risk pool Health Trust. So they have issued a letter, and what they are really clearly describing is that there are two types of risk pools that operate in New Hampshire. One are accessible risk pools. These are folks that there could be losses passed on to the people that are providing or benefiting from that insurance. The second is non-accessible. This is our risk pool. This is Health Trust. This means we have a premium, and that is the ceiling of our cost. We cannot be asked to provide more revenue for that company this year or for a prior year. So what Health Trust has done is most recently, they have reaffirmed that position of being a non-accessible risk pool in their bylaws. So kind of restating that this is who we are. And they are, they've done that in the fall of 2025. And just want to read you a quote from that letter that's kind of open source for everybody to let you know their clarity at that point. In addition to just reaffirming that they're a non-accessible pool, they want to say this to their membership. This protects you, the school district, and your taxpayers from unexpected mid-year bills and year-end assessments. We hope that these changes provide groups with clear assurance that they will not be liable for surprise assessments. So I do not expect any surprise assessments coming down the road. The two other risk pool carriers in New Hampshire have experienced assessments for their folks totaling $32.5 million. And tonight, I think it's very clear we've got clear communication from our risk pool that is not going to be the experience of our school district. I think it puts those rates into some different perspective considering that. I wanted to be sure you had both of those pieces of information this evening. Upcoming things on my calendar, I visited the Board of Selectmen in Danville and made a presentation over the course of 3 fiscal years. I've also visited Sandown. So 2 towns that are upcoming on my calendar, October 20th, I'll be at the town of Atkinson. And on November 3rd, I'll be in Plastow. And again, I'm talking through the fiscal 25 wrap, where we currently are in our cash flow position in fiscal 26, and giving them some preview of information about what this group is doing here in terms of fiscal 27. Tonight, we are going to make a slight change of the order of the presentations. CIP is going to present first, and then we will go through the rest in the order that are there. You will be, and I wanted to update the budget committee, you will be hearing some things from principals and directors tonight about their seed slide, specifically about potential increases to either stipends or positions. And again, I want to be sure that Marie and I will be coming back to this committee, obviously later in the fall, to be mapping out all of those personnel pieces. But this is the first you'll be hearing where they could kind of fall in individual buildings and departments.
Okay.
So that's all I have for this evening.
All right, thank you. Anything from budget committee members, from the CIP or any of the committee? I think we're good. We haven't had any meetings. And anything from you?
Nope, just did all the
All right,
highlights.
thanks. So we'll invite Dr. Martin up.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Finally feels a little bit, or a lot like fall. If you still have partially ripened tomatoes on your vines, I suggest you bring them in tonight because tomorrow you'll be making tomato popsicles. This evening, I'd like to present to you the CIP budget for FY27. And as Superintendent Krieger made note, we'll be talking about some seeds for the future that are tentative seeds for the future, and I'll explain the CIP process. You see before you the percent of the total budget as 2.3% in that opening slide. Dean, who's doing the advancing? Am I? Okay, let's see how I do. Oh, yes. I wasn't through, and that concludes my. Okay, let's try that again. No, Dean. There it is. Okay, I got it. All right. All right. Oh, it's a PC. So, in calculating how many students would benefit from the work that is being proposed for FY27, 2,409 students are students that are in the buildings, plus countless, and today is a perfect example, countless present and future community members. All of our athletics fields were active this afternoon. Our parking lot on the secondary campus was packed. People were in and out of the high school. I was there with the committee woman, Costa and White. So the projects at the high school that would be benefit community members coming in would benefit greatly. In addition to when we talk about life safety at Sandown North. There it is. So what the CIP committee, we went through an exercise this year that I think I would like to do again next year because it was very productive, I thought. We looked at everything that is on our proposed list, and we have, there are 5 years of, 6 years of projects on this CIP list. And what happens is the CIP committee sits down and makes decisions about priorities. Let's move this to this year. Let's move that to that year. This is really important. Let's talk about this for the next fiscal year coming up. We then went around the room. We did what's called a gallery walk, and people expressed opinions in the gallery walk about which projects we should narrow down our work to. And these 4 projects, actually, there were more projects. I missed it, but that last meeting, there were more projects that came to the forefront, but the committee, under the direction of Mr. Sapia at the last meeting, as he chaired that meeting, came up with these 4 projects. And let's talk a little bit about them. The high school envelope, and for those of you who don't know the construction terms, that is like the facade of the high school, much like the work that was done on the PAC a few years back. We are looking to invest money in removing what is currently on there, insulating what is behind there, and putting on a good face to our secondary to our high school. That is the high school envelope, and we're estimating that at $500,000. We'll be looking we are looking at 4 or 5 different vendors for actually to assist us in leading this estimation of this work and creating an RFP going forward if in fact this is all approved. The high school bathrooms, you may remember last year, the high school bathrooms passed for the first phase of the high school bathroom renovation. We currently have Warren Street Architects from Concord. We've engaged them in the beginning of putting together this project to renovate high school bathrooms. We'll be going after the 200 wing first, and this would be the next phase of the bathroom renovations at the high school. It should be noted that the infrastructure of these bathrooms are 60 years old. When we start digging at clogs under toilets and things of that nature, and we're I say my mother's rosary because I'm not sure what we're gonna find and what we might break along the way. The infrastructure is very, very old. That includes infrastructure, not just cosmetics. Sandown North, this sprinklers, we're not irrigating Sandown North. We're looking to put in fire suppression sprinklers inside the building. I had a really good conversation with Chief Devine about this. Sandown North was built just under size of needing sprinklers. Currently, we only have sprinklers in the boiler room, and I think there are 2 of them. If we were to, 2 things. The chief was very candid with me. He said, if we have a fire at Sandown North, I will be needing water from surrounding towns. I have no water source close to the school, and I'm very concerned about our ability to provide enough water for that purpose. I also understand that the selectmen in Sandown have approved a number of construction projects up to 200 single-family homes. And if we are to go anywhere with Sandown North going forward, the chief will not approve construction without us sprinklering Sandown North. This is a life safety issue, and so this is why this has been brought forward for FY27. The Pollard vanities and sinks. This is 2 years in a row now that I've done. I've accompanied the safety inspector from Plastow on the inspections at Pollard. We replaced a couple of vanities and sinks that were not going to pass, did not pass the safety inspection, and so there are a number of them. All of them need to be replaced, and that is that next item there. So we have $1.75 million worth of projects that we are proposing for FY27. We can. I had luck here, let's try this. If we want to talk about seeds, okay. Don't get nervous, I'm not looking to bring forward all of these projects. This is what, remember now, when we move things around and we archive things in our CIP list, this is what is currently on the FY28 proposed conversation list, we should call it. Okay, these items have been moved here or were put here at one point in time. When we start working on our FY28 budget, we will then begin going through these projects in the same manner in which we went through the projects that we are proposing this year. So these are projects for conversation with CIP. This is nothing here. It has been, no decisions have been made on anything on this list except to actually put it on the FY28 list for conversation. Questions, discussion, and follow-up? Yes, ma'am.
Mrs.
Oh,
Lewis.
I'm quite sorry. I think I'm
No.
chairing this committee. Forgive me, Mrs. Costa.
It's okay, take the heat off. Sheila?
Sandown North is what, about 25 years old now?
I can't answer that question, but
How
I
many?
trust you.
I think it's
I'm gonna say
23 years old.
just
It was
about,
done
yeah.
in 2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the conversation about sprinklers when it was built. And they did say at the time that we had egress windows, so that was the reason why they decided they didn't want to do the sprinklers. So is the only reason, 22, 23 years, we haven't had sprinklers over there,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was a travesty to begin with. But is the reason we're doing it now is because we want to expand later?
May I?
We're just trying to,
Thank you very much. I'm trying to remember my manners here. I would not say that that is the only reason. The conversation with the chief, the building principal and others is really about life safety and
Oh, I
what
agree.
happens even if we have 6 classrooms where there's a fire and where are we gonna put those kids?
Right.
So no, it is a factor in the thought process. It is not the driving force.
do I still have the floor, or do you want to just keep moving?
Can we have someone else ask some questions?
Absolutely.
It's about that.
Yeah.
Because I remember it's been voted on before and voted down. This has gone to a vote before at one of the public meetings about the sprinklers. We all had hold up the cards, and they counted the cards. Definitely, it's been on vote, right?
I don't believe so.
Oh, maybe check on that. I remember
I
it
don't
coming
think
up and voting
sprinklers
on.
and Sandown were ever.
Oh, might have been Dan. I see Danville's on the list. Is there a reason that Sandown is bumped up? It was on the other list for $700,000?
You're on the previous slide?
Yeah,
Danville also has a water source close to the school.
okay.
I mean, I'm not the fire department, I'm just saying we have a water
so
source close
There's
to
no
the
cistern in
school.
Sandown.
No.
There's no
Yeah.
water near there at all.
Yeah. So where does the water come from the sprinkler system? Is it held
There is no
in
sprinkler
it?
system.
If, no, I'm saying if it was put
Holding
in,
Well-
or is it
So,
coming from
well.
a well, or is there?
They're
they
gonna have
drip-
to dig a well.
They'll have to dig a well and
Yeah.
then that. And then, if, say there was a fire and no kids are in the school and there's a total loss, insurance covers the loss?
So I can't speak to that completely. Mrs. Watkins may be able to speak to that, but in that, even if, let's just say that's the case.
Yeah.
The time involved in going out to
Yeah.
bid for construction and constructing a school is, it's a 2-year process at a minimum.
And then do they feel like sprinklers usually would contain that loss? And then everything getting wet and stuff is easier to
That is
clean up
correct.
and deal with, et cetera?
That's the
That's my understanding.
infrastructure.
okay. Sue, do you have a question?
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment about the sprinklers. Those have been on for 9 years on the CIP.
That's what I was
9,
wondering.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since 2015.
That's a long time.
16. We've been and I've been on this committee the entire time. And we've talked about it and gotten bids and gotten estimates and got information. Because we just don't do it, just the 6 or 7 of us on the committee and just decide we want to do such and such. We get all kinds of information. Dr. Martin brought all kinds of photographs and data and information, and so did Justin, about what we were going to do and what would be the best choices for us. So there's a lot of projects. I don't want anybody in our community to think we've discussed all those projects. We haven't, but we've got a list and we're working from the list. It doesn't mean that things don't get added in. They do. New stuff gets added every year and it bumps something out that might be on a lower priority. It's very, very hard to prioritize. And I really enjoyed the carouseling that we did, the gallery walk, because it gave everybody a chance to almost anonymously choose what their top project was on the list and work our way down. And then we had data. I brought the data with us and my notes on that, what we discussed. That was very, very good. And we used that to come up with 1.750 of projects that we felt were reasonable to put in the budget. So I think this is a good list, and I just don't want anybody to think in the community that this is the only thing we'd ever do.
Right, and I also think that the vanities and the safety inspector in Plastow was like, time to replace, that's another.
What are they, 60 years old?
Yeah, well, they were there before my kids were there.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so they've been there for a really long time, so, things we need to start to replace things that are not safe for our kids and put things in place for, you're right, life safety purposes.
I mean, I'll go through the things we also discussed this year. We discussed baseball diamond, athletic storage sheds, replace some windows over in Danville, new fields at the middle school and high school. We discussed carpeting at the academy or at the entire Atkinson facility. It's a lot of things to have to make a decision about, and these we thought the best bang for our buck this year, I think. So they'll come up again. We'll be discussing it again next year. I know we will.
So, thank you. Sheila?
When we're talking about the high school envelope, it's leaking, am I correct? There's water back there?
Yes.
Dr. Martin?
So there are areas in the envelope that are compromised that we have replaced with plywood in some
Okay.
cases,
Yeah.
okay? It is very clear there are areas in the current envelope where the screws are beginning to come out. And actually, if you walk along the cafeteria, you can see them in the grass as they pop out. This is not a sound product.
And how far does it go down?
Meaning, how deep is the?
No,
How long?
How long if,
It's
when are we doing it?
It's about 10,000 square feet that we're looking at.
On the cafeteria side?
Anything that is not the bricked in area or the concrete.
Okay. But
That's what
this
we've
side
meant
of the
that-
high school,
In the back of the high school also,
this side and the back.
the front side, the parking lot area, the side of the area and the back of the high school.
All right. Any other questions?
One more.
Okay.
I keep
I'm gonna
asking the
cut you
same
off.
question and I'm gonna keep doing it. Why aren't we putting these bathrooms on the lease? I don't understand why we don't put these high school bathrooms on the lease.
This is more energy efficiency.
Why wouldn't it be? You have energy efficient sinks, you have energy efficient toilets, you have energy efficient lights. Why wouldn't this project go onto the lease? And then you could get it done, one go.
I think the simple answer to that is that it's not an energy efficient project. And the second simple answer is the facilities committee of the school board did not make that decision. They prioritized other projects for the lease.
That's it for me.
All right. Thank you for the slides. I appreciate that they're all uniform with everything else is being presented. And wish you a good night.
I appreciate that very much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Martin.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you for the comments, by the way, Mrs. Sherman, about the gallery walk. It's a very effective tool.
I thought it was great.
The next thing on the list is we have a Plastow who's a budget committee member vacancy. Lauren Schlurf has stepped down for personal reasons, and I want to thank her for her time on the board and on the committee and for her thoughtful comments. We have a notification that went up on the district website. Timberlane Regional School District Plastow Budget Committee member vacancy pursuant to RSA 671:33. Roman numeral 4, the Timberlane Regional School District Budget Committee is accepting letters of interest to fill a budget committee vacancy. The selected candidate will fill the vacancy until March 2026. Registered voters from the town of Plastow interested in applying for this position may bring a letter of interest with qualifications, experience, and other pertinent information to the SAU 16106, Central Office located at 30 Greenough Road, Plastow, New Hampshire. Submission deadline is Thursday, October 16th, 2025, with an anticipated appointment date of November 11th, 2025. The Budget Committee reserves the right to modify the submission deadline and appointment timeline as they deem appropriate. For further information, please contact the superintendent's office. So Sue and I will review the applicants and then we will confer and make a we'll figure out who will be the best fit should we get any applicants. All right, thank you. Next, Mr. Fantasia.
Welcome, Angela.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I make the next, this one. Wendy, I don't wanna mess up your whole program. Oh, actually, I just use the keyboard. Thank you. And thank you for having me. Just very quickly, I will get into the athletic budget requests. Our first slide, it shows that the athletic budget represents 0.55 of 1% of the total budget for the district. We have some numbers that we are very proud of. I actually have a new number since the time that we submitted this. We have right now, as of 6 p.m., 693 athletes between the middle school and high school registered for sports. And we are in fall season, so you're gonna see that number continue to grow as we open up for winter and we open up for spring. 43 programs, 49 teams at the high school, 24 teams at the middle school. That's something we're really proud of. 74 coaches across both programs. And I would be remiss if I didn't stop right there for a second and say publicly thank you to all of our coaches and our teachers and the people that volunteer. This is a very, very special place. And I agree with those people that work with the kids. Last year, the 24-25 school year, we had 773 athletic events between the middle school and the high school. That's pretty good. Like I say to people, that's not including practices, that's not including tryouts, that's games, that's tournaments, all of that stuff. So we are very proud of the fact that we've got a lot of kids active in our community and we're giving them a lot of activities. We also, it's important to note that we deal with 7 outside venues aside from just on school grounds. The ski mountain, the rinks, the pools, indoor facilities, gymnastics, gymnasium. So we are doing quite a bit, not just on school grounds. In terms of the athletic budget, much of it is fixed costs. I've been doing this for 27 years and I say it all the time, most of the budget is fixed costs. And as we look at our budget, the middle school and high school game expenses is about 29% of your budget. And just briefly, that's game officials, that's assigners, that's entry fees, that's police details, that's the porta potties that you see outside, et cetera, et cetera. Our transportation, and again, it's a district contract, but that makes up about 23%. And again, I would go back and to that previous slide of 773 events, that's where all of that is. Facility usage, I skipped supplies and uniforms and equipment. We have 49 teams and 24 teams. So we have quite a few things to cover. But that would be 17% of our budget. And again, the facility usage, those outside venues that we use make up about 11% of our budget. In terms of drivers for this request and this budget request, next year is a Hall of Fame year. We do that every other year. It has been a great success for our community. So in our athletic activities account, you'll see an increase of approximately $10,000 is what we use to start. And then through ticket sales, we bring back money to the district, and that goes back in. On average, over the last 3 or 4 rounds of this, anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 has come back into the account. So like I said, that has been a very successful event for people. And then last year, we were requesting a practice wrestling mat that has seen its better days, and it's probably 20 plus years old. But we made reductions last year, so we took that out of the request last year. So we're trying to put it back in for this year, and then we'll play catch up as we go. But that's why wrestling practice mat is in there this year. We did not get it. We reduced that budget. In terms of some seeds, as we look into the future, so currently we have replaced 3 of the 4 sets of soccer goals in the middle school and high school grounds. We have 1 more to replace. We would have looked at that, but we said, let's stay on track. So we want the wrestling mat to get in, and then in the future, we're gonna move back and play catch up. So 3 of the 4 sets, because I make a mistake when I practice this all the time, and I say 3 of the 4 soccer goals, but they're sets of soccer goals, so I don't wanna, confuse you. But we will be looking at that. Based on if the budget passes and how that works, we have a template of uniform schedules for all of our teams, middle school and high school. So depending on if the budget passes, we will institute who's next, and we will keep prioritizing. So we have that, and that's out for years to come. Putting it on the radar screen, the cheer mats, right now we're fine. However, another 2 or 3 years, we may be looking at getting some replacements to that, but right now, we're fine. And as the superintendent alluded to, we are in communication with the superintendent, the SAU, and Mr. Schweiss about stipends, not just for coaches, but for the music department as well. So that's something that is on the radar screen. Again, just any questions, any follow-up, and, like I said, 0.55 of 1% is our budget.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mrs. Sherman?
Angelo, any elementary school teams? Used to have a cross-country team for elementary schools. Danville, I know, participated, and so did Paul. And we doing that anymore?
We haven't had that. I think that's more of a, I think at the time it was Patrick Ard.
Mr. Odd did do it in Danville.
And he loved doing that. So we haven't had a request or anything for that. In fact, in years past, we actually had an extra line for elementary transportation, because they wouldn't go far, but they would go to a couple of different meets.
Right, they go to Exeter, and Exeter would
Yeah,
have a
they
really
would
nice meet.
go to a few
Stratum
meets,
too.
but we haven't had any
Stratum, that's what we got.
anyone, bring that up for a while.
All right. Mrs. Lowe's?
Game expenses. Is that the stipends or is that just officials?
No, that's the signing fees, entry fees, officials, police details, porta potties, storage, rental containers. That's what that is, things of that nature, not site.
So you expect it to go up like $30,000, almost $40,000 in a year.
I didn't increase that line. In fact, right now,
Well, the 25 actual is $97,000. You're asking for 136. The 26 voted is 136 right now.
the way I see this, and correct me, 26 voted, I have at the high school, 100,000, 100,275,00, and I have the same thing again, and there's gonna be a 3% increase in officials next year and the year after, but I think I can cover that without doing an increase, because I didn't increase it. And at the middle school, it was 36,020, it's still 36,020. And right now, I have used $38,000, and we are on October 9th, and I have an uncommitted balance of 62,206.02. So I think I can cover everything by not making any increases and being fiscally responsible. So that's what I have for this year already on October 9th, 2025. And there is no increase in either line that I asked for.
The track storage containers, can I ask one more question?
One more.
Thank you. The track storage containers. They're right here for a rental.
Yeah, yes.
$3,000.
Yes, $3,000.
Is that a regular storage container like soccer had out there?
It's a full-size storage container.
Metal storage container?
It's a metal storage container, yeah.
Okay. And that holds all your track supplies?
Right now, currently, it's barely holding them, but we're holding them.
Great. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Well done, Angelo.
Thank you.
You're,
Thank you.
thank you. Let me look at my agenda. Oh, Mr. Schweiss, come on up. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Great.
Thank you for having me. I'll echo Mr. Fantasia and say I really enjoy sweater weather, so glad today's where it's at. To talk a little bit about my budget, looks like my budget is 0.09% of the budget as a total. By the numbers, so all students through grade 8 receive music instruction in some way, shape, or form. High school students, they may enroll in music class, but they can choose to receive their half credit required arts outside of music. As of now, 58% of eligible elementary students, and I mean that grades 3, 4, and 5, because those are the grades that we allow to sign up for a performing ensemble, are enrolled in a performing ensemble. That number might be a little bit higher. I had to guess at Atkinson just because we were delayed by starting that program by about a week. So I think that number might be a little bit higher. 41% of all of our secondary students participate in a performing ensemble. By the end of this school year, we're going to have at least 1,074 Timberlane students perform in a band, chorus, orchestra, or guitar orchestra concert on stage. Last year, we had 29 high school students accepted to the all-state festivals. That number might look a little bit higher because we had some students that went to 2 of the 3 festivals, and then we had some students that were accepted to all 3 of those festivals. But those are the individual students. Throughout the year, we're going to have, I say at least because we keep adding things, 50 unique performances here at Timberlane, and then 34 unique performances off campus. So my main drivers continue to be what they've been traditionally, so dues, assessments, and fees. So we need to pay fees in order to belong to the New Hampshire Music Educators Association, and that's what gives us access to allow students to be able to audition for or participate in festivals, and that's students elementary through high school. There are several festivals that take place. That also covers the cost of students to attend those festivals, not just register for them. Our classroom and instrument supplies continue to be a driver. I budget money for 3rd graders. They do the recorders. I know I probably shouldn't bring that up in polite company, but 3rd graders play recorders that we pay for. I budget roughly, I'm so sorry. They sound wonderful by the time they're done. I budget roughly $4 per elementary student just for classroom music because their needs are going to change from year to year, but that's usually been pretty accurate for me. And then instrument supplies too, in order to keep those up and running with the kids. Transportation continues to be a main driver. Not much I can do about that. I do appreciate that music does have its own preferred rate with the busing contract. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah. So I try and guess as to the number of buses that we'll need. That changes based on like the football calendar, whatever away games we're going to. No idea how far they're going to be, but I feel like I've been okay with that number as well. And then instrument, equipment repair, and maintenance continues to be a driver, and that's just making sure that all of the instruments that we do have in storage continue to be in good working order, and that's on a rotation. I don't necessarily know. I don't know what kids are going to break from year to year. But I also try and keep the ones that are in storage as students need them, because one year we might need more tenor saxophones, the next year we might need more baritones, and so I try and have enough in there to keep that moving forward. Seeds, so things that I'm actively working on. My high priority is improving access to our instrumental program. We do understand that cost is a barrier, and we're trying very hard to have cost not be a barrier. Just to share one of my longer term goals, I think it's a 27-year plan now, but my goal is to be able to provide every Timberlane student with 1 year of instrumental instruction at zero cost, just to give them a shot at it, give everyone an equal chance to be able to participate, see if it's something they enjoy, see if it's something they're successful at, and then we can talk about how to keep them moving forward if that's something that they're interested in. Just to share some details about that, the real challenge is the orchestra program, because when you start playing a stringed instrument, if you wanted to start playing the violin, you don't just get a violin, you get a quarter-size violin, and then you get a half-size violin and 3/4 and trade all the way up. So being able to acquire enough instruments to be able to have those on hand to be able to share with all the kids. That's where that challenge is. I found some pretty quality used fractional sized instruments in the past. There was a small rental company in Concord that went out of business a couple years ago, and I was able to scrounge something together to get some fractional size instruments, at least to live at the school. So if kids forget, then the teachers will be able to supply them with that. We do receive donated instruments from time to time. Families that are cleaning out their closets or their attics and they found their or their child's old instrument. And I try and accept as many as I can. I do need to keep in mind the repair costs of those instruments. So I do have some of those in storage, just waiting for the opportunity to be able to have the money to fix that up and put them in active rotation. And like I said, in the new instrument acquisition. So that just sort of maps out where I'm looking to go with that and sort of how I plan on getting there. We do need to work on updating our mobile percussion instruments. I do have them in my budget for next year. I'm not going to try and update the whole line at once because that's really expensive. Next year, I'm just looking to potentially update the snare line. And then for future years, I'd look at updating the bass drums and the crash cymbals and the quints that we have. And then continuing to try and find unique performance opportunities for our students. We have some advanced groups that are becoming more active out in the community. For example, we have our Timberlane fiddlers under Mr. Sam Lyons. They performed at the State House 2 years ago, and Governor Sununu at the time loved them so much that he invited them back the next year. So that's a group that travels a lot this year. Our ACC chorus singers, the varsity vocalists, they're looking to get out and about a little bit more. So I'm starting with those groups that are a little bit smaller and a little more flexible, and then hopefully I'm going to try and provide more opportunities for all the instrumental students. And then as mentioned by Mr. Fantasia, we're also looking to update our stipend formula that we use to help our coaches and our teachers for all of the additional time that they put in, for all of the time that they spend with our students.
Thank you, Mr. Schweiss. I know, I just speak from my own experience that the opportunities you've presented for kids in the music program have been phenomenal. And as you know, one of my kids would not be where she is today if it was not for this program. And, but my question to you today is, was there some way we could maybe negotiate a better price for transportation if it's, is that something you can work out with the superintendent? I think every performance they do, it builds so much for them personally. And I've seen it with other kids. Yours. Go ahead.
Sure.
Do you still do the Dover Band Show?
Yes, we're going to be going next Saturday.
Did you stop that for a while though?
No.
No? Okay. Second question is, have you thought about asking TMA to put out a notice for people who have quarter violins, half violins,
Yeah,
or
so
whatever, to see if, because I know I have a sax sitting in my basement right now. Do you know what I mean? So,
Check your basements.
well, do you get what I'm saying?
do,
I mean,
because if-
because she's not gonna pick it up again, I know this.
Yeah.
But that's the issue. Is it more expensive to buy new, or is it the funds to repair?
So if we were to boil down the numbers, it's the funds to repair. That's the more cost-effective way to go, which is why even if I can't repair it at the time, I try and hold on to it until I can. I do know that must have been six years ago. It was definitely before the pandemic, when Triumph was run by John Manella. He did do an instrument drive at that time. That is something that I'm looking to do again.
Let's say I haven't seen that in a long time, so, but if we're looking to get instruments in kids' hands and people have instruments in their basement because the kid left it behind, so I'm just wondering if that's something that could go with the Triumph or go with the
Yeah, maybe the Triumph can do a drive.
or
In-
swap.
Or swap or something. Is there, you're still cataloging all the stuff up in that room, and the uniforms look great?
I was just gonna ask, are the uniforms all changed now?
No, they're not. Unfortunately, we have not received the full uniforms from the company. There was a delay in their receiving of the fabric that they use.
I'm sorry, let me rephrase my question. Have everything been ordered, everything is changed, will be
Will be
changed
switched
over.
out.
So everything is new as far as uniforms, the dresses, the tuxedos.
The-
You're not gonna be looking for any more uniforms for a while.
Correct.
That's all I was asking. Okay, just wanted to
All
make
right.
sure everything was changed.
And you may have, you noticed something different about the uniforms, because while we haven't received the full uniform yet, we did receive the hats, and that seems like a silly thing, but even unfortunately, the seniors this year didn't get the opportunity during the football season to wear the full uniform. We did want them at least to have something new a part of their outfit, and they like them.
That's all that matters.
Yes.
All right. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Just wanted to
Sure.
provide you information, there is already a current discount for that, it's
Okay,
$129 for pack buses, where
All
it's
right.
about $522 for a daily transportation regular
Okay.
bus.
Great. Well, that's a great discount, sir. Good job.
I just wanted to touch base on some things with the TMA. So the TMA does connect people case by case if someone comes looking for an instrument. But things often, as repair and fittings, and there's a lot of things that go into it. But also to help offset things for expenses this year, the TMA has opened things up for what they could use their funds for, what they fundraise for. In the past, it's been trips, right? Because there's been so many things cut, we've opened those up for people to fundraise so that they can still participate in some of these festivals that we used to cover as a school before. And families might not be able to have those funds. So we've opened up that opportunity for kids to fundraise and put that money in their own accounts to try and pay for those. So the TMA is actively, trying to, supplement some of those things. But, again, we're just a volunteer committee with limited resources and what
That's
people
right.
give back.
Yep. And
So the TMA is trying to offset some of those expenses, same things with music lessons that they take privately. They can use their funds now if they fundraise. So if families get out there and we give them the opportunity to fundraise, they can hustle those things. But, as far as, so that they can continue to grow in the program, because it's an all-inclusive program. This year, a lot of away games were cut out, that the band isn't traveling significantly this year to help offset those things. But the instruments become tough to take in on the other side. But when people do reach out, we try to match them up with somebody that we might know that might have something that they can personally exchange and we're not really involved.
I think TMA has come a long way since my oldest daughter was part of TMA. So, and that was a long time ago. And hats off to the volunteers and to your team in that building to build that up to what it is today. And band camp,
Very
Way
fortunate to have
different.
TMA.
yeah, way different now.
Is it?
So thank you. Any other questions? All right, I think you're good to go, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are we doing this together, sir? Middle and high school, or are we doing one at a time?
I think we're gonna do one at a time.
Okay. Mr. Mincess, come on up, sir.
Not that we wanna make Mr. Vacarezza wait.
Okay.
Mr. Vacarezza would love to spend more time with me too, so that's probably heart-wrenching for him.
How are you?
All right.
Welcome.
So we're gonna talk about middle school life. As it pertains to our budget, full 0.25%. It's a pretty small part of that pie. It's interesting to see it like that, but it is what it is. Just some numbers about middle school. We have 721 Tigers. Grades covered 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. 118 amazing people who are helping provide excellent education for our students, and 5 contracted employees. The main drivers that we're looking at with the budget for our proposed is supplies, which comes under the co-curricular line for field trips. And I know it was a pretty hot topic not too long ago, talking about our field trips for each grade. We're at the beginning of our school year. We have our 6th graders go to Camp Lincoln, which has been a tradition now for probably over 20 years. It really enforces that the 4 towns are coming together in the melting pot, and opportunity for them to make friends over a couple of days over there doing different activities. And we found tremendous success for kids to break out of their shell. Absolutely perfect for every single kid. I'm about to say that it was, but I will say that every kid learns something about themselves when they go on that trip. Even if it's making a new friend from a new town, that's a pretty cool experience. And as we did that in 6th grade, we recognized that why not do something like that for our new teams? Because when they go from 6th to 7th, we mix them all up again purposely so they can maybe make a new friend, meet someone that they haven't known before. So in 7th grade, it's not the 2-day trip to Camp Lincoln, but it's 1 day where they go to Camp Timberlane Falls, another local place where they can, again, just kind of break down some of those barriers in the beginning of the year. And then in 8th grade, we said, we mix them up again. And as you probably all know, all 3 grades are very, very different places in their lives. 8th grade, we bring to Adventure Lore, which also is a community partner. And last year, we had them come to us, but getting off campus this year was a whole nother experience going to that facility. And the 8th graders loved it. And it's really hard to find 8th graders to love anything. So we had great success there. That number is a big number regarding those field trips. The reason I said it was brought up as a discussion point is because I know there was conversation about that cost going to families this year. Fortunately, we also had a lot of support from our community partners in the way of PTSA, the great group, parent family donations. People just said, we'll make sure nobody goes without. Staff donations as well. Nobody was unable to go on the trip for lack of money, but it's something that we believe in strongly enough that we'd like to build it right into our budget. Field trip transportation costs, in general, that's going along with those field trips as well, as long as other field trips that we have going on through the year. The graduation expenses one is an interesting one for me because last year when we were charged with reducing our budget, we did our absolute best to peel back everywhere we could. And there's a large expense that goes towards our 8th grade end of the year celebration type activities. And we did our best to bootstrap our presentation. I would say that our speaker system was a little lackluster for what we hoped it was going to be. And we need to do it right for that ceremony. And it does cost money to make it right. So that's a large part of that expense line right there, that potential driver. Some potential seeds for people to be considering and what's on our mind is increased monies for the field trips and graduation expenses that I mentioned. The next one is potential for a position, an ISS role, our in-school support. So we have one role that was initially discussed about being shared between the high school and middle school a couple years ago. And through a lot of discussion with Mr. Vaccarezza, having someone be between the 2 buildings to potentially support a 6th grader up to a senior at the same time, we didn't feel like that was a good fit, really. So that person, that role went to the high school. So middle school does not currently have one. And we would love the opportunity to have someone who could come and help our kids who are struggling. When we say in-school support, because it quite literally means it would most often be attributed to some students who could be having troubling behavior, troubling life, things they're trying to figure out how to make school work for them. And right now, when we have some of those students, the best way we can support them is we co-manage them, the administration does. If the student makes a poor choice, which definitely happens in middle school life, they have a consequence. Instead of sending them out of school, we try to keep them in school, so in-school suspension. And sometimes they have to be in our office and the admin will kind of rotate throughout the day, touch point with the student, but it's not somebody who could work with a group of students. Or in some case, I don't really mean this to be sarcastic, but pre-crime for students who feel like they're gonna have a tough day and there could be someone who could work with them before they make poor decisions. We feel like that could be really beneficial. And the third one is potential need for additional storage. I don't know if there are many schools that are just like, man, I have too much storage all over the place. But we're struggling to keep our things in good order because we are running out of places to store them appropriately. So every nook and cranny is filled up. And in the wintertime when the ski club comes in, which is fantastic, we give up our remaining bits for all the skis and snowboards, but it really means that we don't know what to do with our stuff. So we can only pack it in so many places, and a potential storage container would go a long way to not only having a place to put things, but to keep it in good shape. You don't need a teacher desk for X, Y, Z, or some chairs. You like put them in a place appropriately, and then you can take them back out when you need them as classroom sizes change over time. And that's it for me. Open for any questions.
Any questions, comments? Mrs. Lowe's.
Shocker. What's the name of the additional staff that you want for the in-school suspension and the get ahead of the problem person, what's that name? What would that title be?
ISS, in-school support.
Am I allowed to ask another one? Nope, go ahead, Katie.
What's gonna be the difference between that person's role and your counselors?
Sure.
Cause
So-
you've got 3 counselors, one for each grade, correct?
Correct.
So what's gonna be difference? Just taking off the workload, or what are you expecting for that person to do?
Sure, great question. First of all, and it's also an incredibly important fit for that person to be working with a smaller group of students that have some challenges. So right now we have a school counselor per grade.
Right.
So roughly 250 kids per grade. One person, like counselor, work with that large number of kids. This ISS person, they might be working with 5 kids who we're trying to get them back on track after their mistakes. I don't envision them working with more than 10 at a time. So it's a very unique role that's trying to keep them either out of trouble or if they've made mistakes to get them back on track. The school counselor still has to be available for the other 200 plus on their caseload per grade.
So you view this person working with the counselors?
Working with the counselor, but working with the counselor. Yes, but more than likely, while they might be a touch point with the counselor, they're really focused on working with a small group of kids throughout the school day. If I could, just a little bit more, if a kid, perfect example, makes a poor choice and consequences in school suspension, they're removed from their classes, but they could be working with this individual so they're not falling behind in their academics. Instead of potentially being in one of our offices by themselves and we're checking in on them as we go through our day, they could be helping them actively. That'd be a major difference for them.
Mrs. Sherman?
Yeah, just to add to that, because we had this position back in the day. And that person, that ISS person touches base with each teacher that student has, makes sure that they get the correct assignments, sometimes obviously does the teaching and the counseling. So it's really a dual role of where the guidance counselor isn't doing the teaching during a day. And I think having small groups like that with a teacher who has the counseling background as well is very beneficial, and keeping those kids probably in one location, not bouncing them from your office to her office to their office during a day, because you get called out, and leaving them alone in a room.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so may I?
Yes, you may.
So my question was gonna be, will this person offer academic support? Because behavioral is one thing, but obviously the kids with behavioral troubles are the ones that also fall behind.
Right.
They need the most support academically, and I know because I kind of have one of those kids sometimes. So I think this is a wonderful idea personally, and I totally support that idea. And I can't believe we don't actually have it.
There used to be one a
Years
while ago. But there were a lot more kids in there and
Right.
yeah, it was, and there was one at the no,
Not more kids.
not, well,
Resource officer there too,
Oh.
might be a support.
yeah, so
We
in
had
the high
teachers that
school.
would do it, they would
Yeah,
come to our classrooms, and some of us would be the ISS person for the day.
any other questions, Mrs. Lowe's?
I'm
And then,
just curious on who the super person would be. Because Sue touched exactly on it. It's gotta be somebody with guidance background, it's gotta be somebody with teaching background, it's gotta be somebody with, hopefully that's a good sized person, so.
in
this-
I
relationship.
can share with you our current experience. I think we're 2 years, Mr. Vaccarezza, into the model at the high school with the exact same position. And we have a individual in that role that is made for it, and it's working well. So I think we've got the experience to kind of know what to look for objectively through the next interview cycle if we get there. Mr. Vaccarezza, could you offer some?
Yeah, I would say it's imperative that you hire the right person. We have been lucky to do. The unicorns are out there who do have that blend. You know, you're not wrong. But when you have that and people want to stop by to talk about their progress with this person and it's directly linked to that, at the high school level, we have seen the value be incredible.
I like that, and it's not only a unicorn, that person is an owl, because they are Timberlane products. Because they're Timberlane products who's coming back and doing great things to help us out.
Catherine?
Do you think this would decrease out of school suspensions? Because I know a lot of times parents that have children and having behavior issues, the complaint is you're sending them home, they're unsupervised, it's just making them want to get suspended. Is there a way to?
The first way I could answer that is we never want to send kids out of school. So that is the worst consequence we can hand out. If we have this person and I know that I can support them in this way, then ISS is definitely the better choice.
Sheila?
I have one more question for you, and it's not ISS. Really dumb question, but instead of a storage container, what about a shed? Like, I don't understand why, I mean, I'm not asking you to build a $400,000 shed to store things, but wouldn't that be more productive than renting a storage container for years and years and years? Get a shed that's the same size. Is that something we put on CIP? Is that something?
Here's the jump over. Maybe woodworking in expanded opportunity could maybe work with the middle school to possibly build
Or
something.
an Eagle Scout but it just seems crazy to me that we've got these storage containers on here.
Yeah.
But again, I don't
It's
wanna build a mansion
I believe
for
it's
$400,000.
it's a seed, correct? So it's a seed, so it's something to work on moving down the road, so, you
Yes,
know, all
trying to give you something to
possibilities
think
are on
about.
the,
Absolutely.
on the table. I'll let the superintendent,
Thank you.
all right, and then Sabrina.
Mine's just more of a comment. We talked, looping back to field trips. I support field trips 110%, I think, especially, you know, in middle school, you know, it's a tough time. And I think most of our kids develop so much of themselves in that period. But I'd like to commend everyone that helped make this, you know, hearing that staff are putting in money. I know, you know, my first day of school, when my kid went to school with a check, right? Because it was a field trip, right? And I have some friends who went to school, their kids went to school with $300, right? Because they had field trips in different grades and different schools and different things happening. But I'd like to take a minute just to commend all these staff that are taking out of their own pockets to make this possible. And, you know I'm going to cry when I say it because Mitch came at the 8th grade, is going to Washington next year, and he stood up in that meeting and he told all the 200 people in there, right? And he said, for anyone who's sitting out here and thinks that the cost is an issue, grab me, we'll make it happen for you. No kid that wants to go on this trip will not go on this trip. And I'm gonna cry, I'm sorry. But I'd like to commend the middle school. I see so much of it often from the camaraderie of the staff. And I know it starts with you, you know, and it stifles down, but from the camaraderie and what they do for these kids, I'd really like to say thank you, because I'm sure there's so many kids out there that, you know, do feel that they're left behind. And, you know, as soon as that number went up on the screen for Washington, right? And you can hear some of the parents, you know, make that sigh, right? You know, I got a kid going to Germany, Karen, same thing. We got a kid going to Germany. We got a kid going to Washington, right? But great opportunities for our kids. And it's even better when you have an administrator stand up there and say, no one feel like you're left behind when this happens. So thank you for making that possible.
Yes, that's good leadership right there. Any other questions or concerns? Any comments from?
No comments.
Okay, I think we're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thank you.
Mitch.
And I'm sorry, Mr. Vacarazza, did I say it right? He's the only person I never really had a kid with. Welcome.
Welcome, John.
Thanks for having me here tonight. One night a year, I guarantee to get to see all you guys, so thank you for having me. Had a great night tonight. As a principal and as a parent, I got to grace the open house of the high school. And I got to see 12 teachers. They did a great job moving everything along, and they gave me pretty decent reports, so we're happy about that. High school. Here we go. As far as the percentage goes, you can see it's 1.11% of the entire budget. We have 937 students, grades 9 through 12. We have general education, evening division, and high set. Those would be the three categories. We have 133 total staff members, teachers, paraprofessionals, specialists, administrative assistants, and administrators, and we have 10 contracted employees. My drivers, I always put a little bit more drivers, and those of you who have been on the committee for any amount of years, so it might sound always very familiar, but I have no problems explaining it. The drivers are, the first two drivers, one is for vocational education. This is the off-site CTE education that we have at Salem High School and Pinkerton Academy. We have it budgeted for $270,000, which is 28% of my budget. The next budget portion is $156,289. That is for transportation to both Pinkerton Academy and to Salem that we have to do. So it's 44% of my budget is directly related to CTE. I stop here because it seems every year this is a focus of questions. Does anyone have any questions on that or anything of that nature?
Do you anticipate more kids getting into the CTE program for next year?
So that's a great question. This past year, last year we had 143 students. This year we have 158 students. So we have more this year in CTE than we did last year. The trend has been doing that. We roughly pay around $2,100 per student for CTE courses. Now, with that in mind, we are guaranteed a certain number of seats in CTE. Give you an example with that. Let's say at Pinkerton Academy, we might have 8 seats for animal science, electrical, we might have 4, welding, we have 3, environmental science. We have people who want to fill them, so we currently have 17 seats filled at the level 1 area there. If more seats open up, we get the opportunity, they ask, do you have more people who are interested in them? Okay. So the anticipation of could those numbers go up? Yes. The thing is, we're planning a full year in advance while we have this one going and next year. So we have gotten it much, much closer. But I mean, as you can see, if we went up 15 seats this year, that's a $30,000 increase in budget. Right. So that's why this is always going to be a driver, and it's always going to be one that maybe we plateau at, but at the current time, if we can get more kids opportunities, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
Liz, can I interject for just a second?
Absolutely.
To remind the budget committee, this is an agreement that's governed regionally. We have a
Yes.
regional agreement with these organizations and the school districts that partner with those two CT centers.
Mhm.
These are also typically programs where kids are leaving with certifications or additional training, other than just a high school diploma. So there's kind of stepping stones for kids moving that way. And I think the third thing to remind you, and John, I think did a good job, it's driven by student interest. So if the student is interested in those classes and the space available, that's what kind of drives the spending on that side of things, which is unique to school districts like that students would have that much of an impact on that. But yes, it's driven by the courses they want to sign up for and that align potentially with their career pathways.
Okay. And then how many buses usually roll out of here with CTE kids?
Great question. So we have 2 buses in the morning to Salem, 2 buses in the afternoon, or a bus in the afternoon to Salem. Pinkerton, we do not currently offer a bus, so the students drive themselves, but then at that point, we have to reimburse.
First for mileage and gas, or
Correct.
just mileage? Just okay.
It's a set rate.
Okay.
That we get paid from the state,
Okay,
from the AB1 report.
okay. Those were my questions for now.
I'm not trying to prolong it, but I know this is always a portion of it, so I figured. Okay, then if you look at my other drivers, supplies, the general high school is 7% supplies. You can see student activities. These are your clubs and your field trips. So this is a couple things. So Harvard Model Congress, we pay a portion of those type of things. Field trips to go to the Peabody Museum. In past years, we paid the entire amount. This year we had to cut back because of budgetary. we're trying to find that balance as well, but that's where clubs and field trips, student council, those type of things. So a lot of times now students are paying more of a portion of those, but that is a driver at 4%. Student activities, this one is specific graduation expenses. It costs $31,000 to do graduation, and that's kind of almost a set expense. It has gone up. We were running a couple of years where we were over, we budgeted too little, so we've now had to put that. I think we did it at $2,000 to $3,000. And then field trips, co-curricular transportation. That this is to get kids to these places. We take the students to Boston, World Studies for Holocaust. There's no cost for the field trip, but there is a cost for the bus, and we do that. Otherwise, you can imagine the cost that it would be passed on to all the kids. So those are my drivers. Okay. Seeds. So we have a very large amount of extracurricular programs at the high school, and we try very hard to not have to say no. We say, hey, you want a club or activity at the high school? Get yourself an advisor, pitch it to us, and we say yes. This is an opportunity. In the first years, no one's getting paid for that. And so if the more clubs we have to then figure out how much individuals are getting. So, that's what that is dealing with. So there are some legislations, ED 306 laws that have come about, and we do have Timberlane graduation standards. There's upwards of a credit and a half. There's like a New Hampshire history that is now going to be half credit of that. There's logic and reasoning. So there are credits that now we are having to do. We also we have certain standards that we have at the high school with the high school, so that kids are leaving with an education that they are ready to be actually in the workforce or in college and have the appropriate skills, not rote memorization, but actually be able to do stuff with the information they have. With that in mind, because you go up in credits, that it could, and I put that down, be in need of an increase of one social studies during a teacher. That's really where that could take place. And then we are dealing currently, we lost an administrative position, assistant position in charge of attendance last year. That was lost, and that might be one that we need to investigate, as I said, being a seat. I have nothing. And any questions, follow up at all.
Was your attendance person the same person that was doing the outside work for credit?
ELO is fully.
No,
This is fully.
no. We have an assistant principal in charge of alternative education programs. Your ELOs, evening division, ISET, and then the administrative assistant that we're talking about, completely separate.
Oh, it's administrative assistant that you lost.
Yes.
So I thought you replaced that assistant principal position.
Dr. Campbell was initially in there, and now it is, he was there for 2 years. This is Danielle Foley's second year. Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions or comments for the high school? Thank you so much. I think the vote is you're right, it is your driver, and it is an important factor of high school and importance in this environment.
And the only other thing is, as I said, I'm not allowed to put it on there, but I always would like to say, I'd love to see us as a district make sure that every kid is able to get, meals and that we would be paying for every single student to have a lunch. That's my pipe dream, as I have said for 5 years. So I have to say it, but it's not on there.
It's okay. Okay, are we all set? All right, yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business? We need
Take
to,
any
Yep.
votes?
we need to, yeah, sorry,
Accept these for
thanks.
Let's just go.
I'll make a motion to take under advisement the CIP budget of
Second.
$1,750,000.
And we have a second.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Unanimous. Next, athletics.
Motion to accept for review the athletic budget. The exact number.
It's
Of $475,271.
I'll second.
And we have a second. All those in favor? Okay, we're all good. Next, we have the music department budget.
I'll make a motion to accept for review the music budget of $118,000. I think it's $597?
96.
$596, sorry.
That's the way I liked it.
I'll second that. All those in favor? Unanimous. We have the middle school budget.
Make a motion to accept for review the middle school budget of $336,009. Is that 67?
Yes.
I'll second.
And we have a second. All those in favor? Unanimous. And finally, the high school budget.
You're on it, might as well keep going.
Unless somebody else wants to jump in, I'll make a motion then to accept for review the high school budget of $956,436.
I'll second.
And we have a second. All those in favor?
I'm a little blind.
All right.
It's a light coming.
So we've
Yeah, I was doing the same.
taken
Yeah,
everything. Yeah. Are you all set?
I'm good, yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Delinquent and take my hand down.
Oh, my God.
Hanging out there.
Maria, in this long paper, CIP, why is it 1892 instead of
17.
1.750?
Because the 1982 is what we have every year. The projects that get booked leave a little allowance in case something happens. So every year we do the same. The projects that get presented under the CIP are a little less than the total budget. That has been the same budget year after year. We leave a buffer if in case we need to repair something or something big happens. So we don't compromise the entire 1.8
The whole project.
million. We just leave a little bit.
So do you want us to accept the larger number, or do you want us to accept?
The 1.8, yeah.
I put a
Which is the
motion of
same.
1.7.
Oh, the
Okay.
1.89 to 200.
So you want to rescind your vote and add?
Yeah, who seconded it?
I did.
Karen. So I'll rescind if Karen rescinds.
I will rescind my second.
I think you have to, because you're just doing it.
We can just-
I don't think we do.
And it is
Yeah, I
just
think
for
at the end
review.
we need to.
Let's just do it.
Okay.
So I'll make give me the number,
1892 200.
I'll make a motion then, new motion then to accept or review the CIP budget of 1.892, 200 for the budget for CIP.
And I will second that once more.
All those in favor? Unanimous with a shake of the head. Okay, any other business? Next future meeting dates, Tuesday, October 21st. The walkthrough at Howard, Thursday, October 23rd. The SAU here, our meeting, Monday, November 3rd, a virtual walkthrough at Sandown North. And Thursday, November 13th, a regular meeting here. And if anybody has not signed up to sit with either the superintendent, Maria, or Dr. Martin, please feel free. I enjoyed myself this evening with Dr. Martin. If there's no other business before the
Maria.
board.
What is it?
I heard you were sick.
I adjourn the meeting. We're all set. Thanks, Dean.
Thanks, Liz.